Hi, this is Melissa Kobi with the Heather Murphy Group at Keller Williams here. I'm a buyer specialist on the team. And today we're going to talk about what 16 years in real estate looks like.
Most people think buying a home is a financial decision. How often is it actually an emotional decision?
Oftentimes, a real estate transaction actually starts on the emotional side of things. The financial piece comes in afterwards, right? So we do the homework on the front end and we get you pre-approved. But once we're out there, no one's really talking about like, all right, this house is listed for 375, right? They're going in that house to see if it's going to fit their personality, fit their lifestyle, fit their needs, their pets, whatever that might look like for them. So oftentimes, yes, there's a financial piece, but we're really starting with that emotional piece. What's drawing you to that house? What's pulling you in to where you do then want to write an offer on that home? And then the financial piece starts to play a role in that.
What's the biggest misconception people have about their reasons for moving?
I think the misconception is they think they need more space, things of that nature, when really it boils down to they're looking to achieve a different lifestyle, right? Something has changed in their life. They're seeking something different than that house offers. So at that point in time, it's not just like, hey, we need to move. There's a deeper meaning to why they're wanting to move.
What's one client story you'll never forget because it had very little to do with real estate and everything to do with life?
I remember I had this one client, this was years and years and years ago, and it really just boiled down to she was in a different point in her life, and it was a very emotional transaction from start to finish. You're talking about a house that her husband built with his own two hands, and she had to sell it. And she was in a different point in her life. She's, basically retired, and she was limited to a certain income. And so we had to make some changes for her. And that was a very, very emotional transaction from start to finish.
What's something buyers worry about that usually doesn't matter? And what's something they ignore that absolutely matters?
A lot of folks like to worry about and maybe even delay a transaction is over cosmetic related things. We're talking about paint, things of that nature, things you don't like, fixtures, whatever that might look like. Those are all very changeable things. The things we need to worry about are the what I call high ticket items, right? It's the whole reason why we get a home inspection done. But I do think that buyers do get caught up on what they see and where we should be focusing on layout and things of that nature, but we get hung up on the cosmetic things. And that's really something that we should just put to bed. It's something you can tackle later on down the road. The things that we need to pay attention to is roofs, HVAC systems, active leaks, things of that nature. Whenever I'm walking a house, my clients like to make fun of me because I'm always looking up because I'm looking for water stains and things of that nature, right? We'll let them enjoy looking through the house for, making sure it fits their lifestyle and things like that. And I'm looking for imperfections, things that may be a red flag that they should be concerned about. Foundation, crawl spaces, things like that. We live in the South. It's very moist down here most of the year. So crawl spaces are another one where you want to make sure that everything's nice and dry. So those are the things that folks should be focusing on.
When someone finds the one, what actually happens? Can you tell?
There's definitely a shift in the mood, in the atmosphere, so to speak, whenever folks find the one, right? We spend a little more time in those houses because they start envisioning themselves in there with their families or whoever, with their pets, things of that nature. So it does become of, okay, this we can see ourselves living in here. We can see us putting a Christmas tree up at Christmas, and we can see ourselves having Thanksgiving dinner with the family and just all the holidays with your family. So I think there's definitely a shift in their demeanor whenever they have found the one that you're like, okay. And oftentimes, it, just kind of walking into the space, they're like, ooh, it's like a moment. And yeah, totally can tell.
What's the difference between excitement and confidence when buying a home?
I think the excitement is whenever you have found the one, right? You're excited about it, things of that nature. The confidence comes in and like, all right, we're doing this. We're going to make a sound decision, right? You feel confident in the house that you're buying, and then, or you're excited about the house that you're buying, and then the confidence comes in, all right, we're making the best financial decision for ourselves. That's where the confidence piece comes into play.
What's something buyers never ask about at the beginning of the process, but almost always wish they had?
Honestly, it's more than just looking at or getting with the lender and seeing what that cost per month is going to be. I always tell folks this is an investment for you. So you need to think long term. Okay, you're purchasing a house, that's great. And I want that for you. And I want to make sure you get the best deal and the best house for you. But being a homeowner also means that you're investing in that property. So it doesn't end once you sign on a dotted line and you start making those monthly payments. It's actually what's after that, right? The home maintenance. Again, going back to the investment piece, you want to make sure you take care of it. So not pushing off deferred maintenance, always making sure that you're taking care of those housekeeping items. You want to make sure that you're in a position to take care of those items so that you protect your investment in the long run. And then whenever you get to a point where you're ready to step up, or life changes for you and relocates you somewhere else, you're in a position to offload that property pretty quickly because you've taken care of your investment. So I think that's the biggest piece that a lot of folks will miss out on. They move into a house, they're in there for 5 or 6 years and they've done absolutely nothing. And then when they're ready to sell, because life has changed for them, they have a really hard time getting rid of that property or selling that property because they haven't taken care of it as they should have whenever they first purchased it.
If you could save every buyer from one costly mistake, what would it be?
If I could save my clients from one costly thing, it would be not having the house inspected. You definitely want to have the house inspected. Even if you have no intentions of asking the seller for a single repair, it is nice to have what I call the honey-do list, right? Have that in your back pocket so you know what you're walking into. It's not a foolproof thing, but it does put you in a better position and gives you better perspective on that property in the long run. So that is definitely something that, hey, yeah, it's not required, but I highly recommend that you do that piece just to protect yourself. Even if it's a townhouse, a condo, a new build. I have a new build right now where 2 of the trusses are not connected to anything. So I'm telling y'all, the home inspection is worth its weight in gold. You want to do that no matter what you're purchasing.
If you could sit down with every buyer in Savannah before they started their search, what's the one thing you'd want them to understand?
I think the one thing I would want people to know, no matter where they're moving to, even if it's not Savannah, there is no such thing as a perfect house. It just doesn't exist, right? We're looking for the perfect fit for you. What's something that you can work with and build on moving forward? But I think some folks get so caught up in looking for that perfect house. And oftentimes what I see is we find one that kind of checks all of the boxes. And because we're still on the hunt for that perfect one, we miss out on potentially what could have been their one. So I do think that some folks get hung up, and that would be my one word of advice to anybody who's looking in the Savannah market is, get it out of your mind that you're looking for the perfect one. We're trying to find something that fits the vast majority of your needs, but know that it just doesn't exist. You will make it the perfect one once you move in. I'm Melissa Kobi with the Heather Murphy Group at Keller Williams here in Savannah. It's been nice chatting with you guys about my experience as a realtor here in our market. If you should want any more information, please reach out. We'd be happy to help.